Good evening, fellas. How you doing? This is Ronnie Russell, president of the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, and I would like to bring in my brother from another. Y'all know what it means. All right, so I'm gonna bring in brother Tavares Bethel, who is the executive director for the Village United. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing excellent, sir, and it's good to be here with you this evening. Wonderful to have an opportunity to come on. TBP, IBCC, TVU, and all of those other acronyms too. Hold on, that's bars.
Yeah, so it's always a blessing to be in your space. So everyone that's watching right now, what we would like for you to do is to ensure that you share this live, share it on your news feed, because as you share it on your news feed, the information gets circulated. Because what happens when there is a lack of circulation of information, there is a educational gap between those who know and those who do not know, because in the middle are those who should know. So share this live so the people in your audience or the people you influence have the ability to know and be informed about what we're going to be talking about. This is the Youth Drone Experience, the creation of a generation of producers, creating the next generation of producers. As you can see right there in the lower third, whichever side you see it on, as you're watching it, whether you're on your phone or a laptop or a desktop, whatever it is, tablet, whatever it is for you. This is what we're going to be talking about: the Youth Drone Experience. How do you see the Youth Drone Experience, Brother Tavares?
Man, I see the youth drone experience as the foundation of innovation for the future generation. We have to cultivate experiences that are going to give our children an opportunity to distinguish themselves from their peers, set them apart, and also set a path towards the future that is lined with opportunity and productivity and just all of the things that we imagine. The youth drone experience, in my humble opinion, is the beginning of them cultivating the ability to evolve and enhance their imagination. It is absolutely imperative that we learn and discover more about technology and those things that will further enhance our society. And I think the youth drone experience for our environment is it.
Hey, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's why I didn't say it. So I let him say it. That's the King Dictionary himself. So we would like to bring in no other than the mayor himself, mayor of City of Killeen, Mr. Jose Segarra. Look at him writing notes. What you writing down, sir?
Hey, I was trying to figure out my acronym, and it's like, okay, it's okay. All right.
This is MJS. If you don't know what MJS is, this is Mayor Jose Segarra. There's your acronym.
There you go, MJS.
I just gave you one. Nah.
Okay.
What's that? Oh, yeah.
Mayor of Killeen.
Mayor of Killeen. Got you. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, that's been innovative. He is creating his own lane. So there will be only one MOK because he has coined it. Sir, I'm gonna write you a proclamation about MOK. So that's gonna be your day. MOK day. No, I'm just playing. That sounds too close.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. He okay. MOK. How you doing? I'm okay. Nah.
Like so and then okay.
Right. Oh, that's okay. I got you. He's dropping his own bars right now. So, tell us about opportunity in the city as citizens. Why is opportunity so important?
Well, that's one of the things I always say as mayor. Every time there's a challenge, when I look at it, those are opportunities, and we're full of opportunities. When somebody says, Mayor, I want you to do this, or I want you to bring this, or well, there's a lacking there. And instead of saying, we lack something, I look at it and I try to turn around and I say, well, that means there is an opportunity. And everything that has pretty much been created since the dawn of time is because, somebody had, they're either trying to make something easier, more convenient, and they use their innovation skills to do that. Look, we came up with flight. Somebody said, I want to fly, and for thousands of years we never knew man can do it, but somebody was innovative in that. And so every time we think about something, I think that that is an opportunity to be creative and create an opportunity for what is it that the people want the most. And sometimes, it doesn't mean you're always going to get it the first time at bat. And I think that's where that's where the big challenge is, because a lot of times in our brains, in our own minds, we want to do it and we want to succeed the very first time. But if you look back on the history of all the innovations that have been created, it is failure after failure after failure. And what distinguishes them from most people is that ability to be tenacious and then just keep going until they figure it out. And I want to start off, I want to say, this is the first time I've ever heard of anything like this. So I want to say thank you to the Village United for bringing this drone program to our kids. I think that, and I think I told Brother Tavares when he called me, I said, this is awesome. You're going to have a line of kids lining up that want this drone, because this is where it starts. You know, it's getting them excited about something. And once you get them excited, you can take them from there and help them and move in so many different directions, especially with today's world where technology is used in so many different areas. I mean, we use technology in the simple things. You know, I used to, before my life as mayor and before my life as a business owner, I used to do mechanic. I used to work on cars. And last month I went to CTC, and they have a great program where if you go through this, it's by Ford, and if you go through this program at the end of the graduation, Ford gives you about $10,000 worth of tools. Well, the tools, they weren't the same tools that I used to use when I was a mechanic. A lot of that is computer based. I mean, it's tools that you use, and you have to use the technology to fix cars. And so I wish I was. I told the people, some of the graduates there, I said, I wish I was part of this program, because those are some really neat tools and they are awesome. So I think it's very important that what you guys are doing can lead to, like I said, so many different directions. And I really appreciate you, because you know you're getting our youth excited to do something, to want to be part of that. And the way you are carrying it, you're including the STEM education there, and that's important when you study technology and innovation. You have to know your science, your technology, your math, and all that. So that's all good, and I think that it's nothing but good stuff for our community and for our youth.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you recall, but I think it was in 2017 when we were discussing, community programs and summer programs, and we were talking about, summer idleness and the impact that it was having on the youth of the city of Killeen relative to the rise in crime during that time period. If you could just, for us, if you could just mention the need to incorporate programs or activities that will inspire children, because through that inspiration we can begin that process of mitigating crime and violence, and the potential unrest that exists when children have nothing to do and the resources don't exist. If you could expand on that, if you could, please, sir.
Well, and that gets back to what I said earlier about what you're doing. What you're doing is you're trying to capture our youth's attention. And sometimes, we got to find different ways to do that, because, we've tried different things, and a lot of people have come here with great ideas, what I thought was great ideas, trampoline places, places of entertainment. And, but a lot of times they don't succeed. And so it's like, what is it that we can bring in here to occupy, not just occupy, but to grab their attention? Because what we think may be something of entertainment for our youth, and we bring it here. Keep in mind that a lot of these, they have to make money. It has to be profitable, because the city, a lot of times people think that the city is the one that's in charge of bringing in a putt putt or bringing in a Dave and Buster's, and those are all private enterprises. What we can do is we can set the zoning, the course for them to come in. But what they're going to look at is they're going to look at, are we going to have enough participation? And that's critical, because if we don't have enough participation, then it doesn't matter what we try to bring to entertain our youth, especially during our summer months, then it's not going to work. So a good example is right now, what's going on right now. We do have, a lot of people in the past have said, we need a water park. And we do. I think that has been a home run for the city. And so our big challenge right now is just trying to open up that water park because we don't have enough lifeguards. So we do need volunteers. We need people that can work. Actually, it's not a volunteer, it's a paid position. And yet we can't open that park for our youth during the summer because we don't have enough people to work it. So these are some of the challenges that we face when we bring something here. It's not just hiring the right people, but it's just maintaining it during the summer months or during the whole year, if that be the case, and making sure that we get enough participation. And so I think that with the water park, it's exciting, but it's always a challenge that we face. It's one or the other. Right now, it's just finding enough employees to do that. But once we get that, we'll be able to open that up. But yeah, you're right. We're always looking. We're always working with different organizations to see whatever we can do as a city. By all means, we're there, but we're limited. Our job is to just help you and support whatever, whether you're a nonprofit or whether you're a business, and to help you with that endeavor. So,
Right. So, how do you feel technology is important to the future progression of a city, no matter what city it is? How do you feel that facet of that forward thinking is important for the growth?
well, and it's amazing because when you talk to a lot of our youths, they are so advanced in a lot of the technology. Me, and we just barely started using iPads and learning about computers within the last 10 years or so. And then you talk to some of our youth. I have grandkids, they're like 8 years old and they can do a better job than me. So the advance, by the time they're our age, the advancement that they need, the training that they need is beyond the scope of any type of understanding that we have. So what we need as a city, and this is funny because we were having a meeting this morning. We had a regional meeting this morning with our county judge and a lot of your other local cities from the surrounding communities. And the discussion revolved around bandwidth, and we need, bigger and faster bandwidth just to keep up with all the technology that's coming down. And one discussion is with our youth is in our schools. Schools, kids need to be able to have access to technology so that they can do their homework, do their assignments, interact with their teachers, their mentors, and stuff like that. So we as a region need to be able to provide that access point for them to be able to reach all the different technologies that are coming down the pipeline. So that's an area that we as a city are going to be working on, continue to be working on. I know we've been working on it. In the clean area, I was surprised to learn that about 98% of households do got some kind of cable, which is a lot faster than some of the outer areas. Some of them don't have what we have here. So we have a little bit of advantage over some other communities in the rural areas. But that's just an example. And then with that, they're able to learn not just education, but they're able to learn how to do like coding. I mean, coding is one of the careers that is still around and it's going to be around for a long time. Coding involves not just creation of websites, but it can be the creation of gaming systems, of software programs, of animation. My brother, he does animation and he has to know a lot of technology in order to be able to do that because that's something big, animation, movies, and stuff like that. So it's amazing. I think just about everything that we use today, doesn't matter which field you get into, you're going to be affected with technology. You're going to have to understand some sort of technology. So that's where it's very important that, we provide that ability for them to be able to get out there and learn it. We don't want them to come and say, you know what, the reason I couldn't do that is because I didn't have internet, or my speed was slow, or there was nothing in the community where I can go and learn. And we're working on that. We're working with our libraries. If somebody doesn't have a computer at home, then we need to be able to provide that within our libraries. And I think that's another point that we're starting to see change, another area. A lot of times, we still want our kids to read, but I think the libraries need to be used as an access point for our kids, those that really can't do it at home, to be able to go to the library and use all that technology that's available there.
Mr. Mayor, I think when I first started working in the community, you know, initially when we want change, we think, okay, I have a great idea. I'm going to bring it to the city council, and we're just going to try to get the city to action on this. During my time moving and developing relationships and operating in that environment, I've grown to realize that there's a partnership that has to take place between, those that are fiscally minded, business savvy, and innovative and creative thinkers in conjunction with our legislators and our policymakers in order to set the conditions in order to bring prosperity to our environment. What are your thoughts on the way forward as far as cultivating an environment that embraces technology and also creates these opportunities for us to do business in the technology space moving forward?
Well, you said it right there. It requires a lot of partnerships, and I think that what we need to do more, we're starting to do that, but it's creating partnerships, not just with the city government and local nonprofit, but with businesses. And businesses can develop, you can work as volunteer, or you can, get summer job programs for our youth with companies that have technology so they can use that. So I think those are important. I've done that in the past, even in my office. And my office is not a high tech company, but we use a lot of technology. And so they get in there and they learn how to use databases. They learn how to use phone systems. You see phone systems that are advanced now. A lot of it is what we call VoIP, and they're over the internet. So you have to learn how to use that. And so, I mean, there's little things that you can start off when you're young, but you start developing those skills. And as you get older, it just becomes easier when you get out there into the business world. But yeah, we just got to continue working with partners like that, with chambers, with what you guys do, with many different organizations out there. Create that connection. And so we as a city, like I said, we want to try to do as much as we can to support. But there is a line. There's only so much we can do. I know a lot of people think, and as you say, they have an idea and they bring it to city council. And most of the time, I would say 100% of the time, when you bring something from the city council, we just look at you, and people think, well, are they going to do something? Well, they have to understand that in order for us to get that ball rolling, we have to bring it back as a discussion item, and then we have to research everything. We have to put the staff to work on it. So it's not an easy process. And so again, it's just about having that tenacity just to follow it through, and don't just drop it on the lap of somebody and expect them to just kind of take off with it. And I always tell people that, my goal is always to put my arm around people and say, let's do it together. Whatever I can do to help you move this ball and continue it moving it, because we don't want it to stop, I will do. But a lot of times it's just, I have a great idea, let me bring it forth, and then we tend to forget about it, and then nobody follows up, especially the person with that great idea. If I can connect all these different organizations, all these different businesses, that would be great, because a lot of times there's something that's already been started by somebody else. And if we bring them together, it will advance it even further, if you know what I'm talking about. But Partnerships. I would say a lot of partnerships. That is very important. It's just getting out there and working with a lot of people in our community.
Mr.
Right.
Mayor,
So,
I'm
so,
sorry. I'm sorry.
so, so for those of you who are just now showing up, we are talking with the mayor of the city of Killeen, Mr. Mayor Jose Segarra, and the subject, as you can see, is the youth drone experience, creating the next generation of producers. So if you're watching right now, make sure you share this live. Up in the content of the live itself, you have the application link. Fill out the application link, because trust me, this will not be the very last class, but we also need you to fill out the application. So once the phase two happens, or the youth drone experience 2.0 happens, 1.5, whatever it is going to be, make sure you're already up on it and included inside the database, so we can reach out to you to let you know when the next class is going to be. So again, we're sitting with none other than the mayor of Killeen, Mayor Jose Segarra. And again, the subject we're talking about is the youth drone experience, creating the next generations of producers. Go ahead, brother Tabetha.
Man, hey, and that's awesome too. And everybody who knows us understands that we never leave anybody behind. Like if we are intent on doing something, we're going to do it, right? And so sign your children up and just stand by. We're coming. You know what I'm saying? We're going to ensure that we do this. We want. I was talking to Councilman Wilkerson, and we want to expand this from 20 kids to 200 kids to 2,000 kids. It's 50,000 children in the city of Killeen, enrolled in the KISD, and we want to make sure that we do our best in order to ensure all of them have opportunity. But a question that I have for you, Mr. Mayor, I was having an opportunity to be a student at the Central Texas Council of Governments for their leadership course. And during that course, councilman at the time, Mr. Juan Rivera, came and he did a presentation, and he was speaking about how attractive Central Texas was to businesses because of the talent pool that exists, that is generated based on Fort Hood Military Reservation being co-located in the city. I asked him, he didn't respond. I'm going to pose the question to you though. I asked him, is there a plan, or could we cultivate a plan in which, instead of trying to lure pre-existing corporations that'll come in and pilfer the talent base from the city because of how attractive it is, what can we do to cultivate that same industry and those partnerships based on those individuals that are already in the environment? Because I believe, it's just my opinion, that those individuals will be more invested in the city because of their connection to the environment, as opposed to luring someone in who's only coming because it's an economic opportunity. How do we do that? Or what would that look like to connect with some of these military greats and some of these corporate executives that are already occupying the city, so we can build homegrown institutions in the environment?
No, and I always believe that. I always make a point, through the chamber, through our clean economic development. I think it's easier to grow from within than trying to attract somebody. When you look at a lot of these big corporations, where their headquarters is where somebody invented them, somebody created them. And as they grow, they'll expand to a few other cities, but the primary business is done where they grew, where they were at. And so it's a lot easier to grow from within. And so what we got to do is we got to show more support, I think, for the businesses that are here so that they can grow. One of the things that we have, because I know a lot of times people say, we need more industry here, which is true. But one of the big pluses that we have here in our area is that we have a big economic boost. And I'm not just talking about inside Fort Hood. I'm talking about the citizens that live within our community. I mean, we have people that probably make more money than some of the people, and this is at they're young because they're retired from the military, than some of the people that work in Austin at some of these technology companies. And that's because, they've come out of the base, and they've made Central Texas, Killeen, their home. And they may have other jobs that, you can't compare the jobs that they have here, probably all of them, to other jobs, let's say in Dallas or something like that. But they're content and they make more income than working somewhere else. And they like that. I've worked with people like that. I say, you can be working in Austin. No, I like it here. I got a good benefits. I retired and I just want to take it easy. I don't want that commute. Then I say, well, you should consider maybe opening up a restaurant, opening up a business, or buying a franchise, So, yeah, I think that those are opportunities that I think we need to push in order that we can grow from within. But there is a big economic base here that they do like to spend. And the reason that I say that, if you look at our tax base, especially during COVID, in the last 12 months, it has been up compared to same time previous year or any time before that. Last month, our tax revenue was up about 50%. And
Mm.
that's incredible. And it's like, wow, you guys like to buy and like to spend more than other cities. And yet we don't have that industry, because a lot of times, like I say, people here, they have the income and they're able to spend. We have one of the highest home ownerships in the country. So that's an indicator, because in order to buy a home, you have to have, a strong financial background. You have to have good income. You have to get credit. And so that's another plus. But it doesn't take away that, we don't try to attract. But I think with all that in place is just convincing some of the people here that, they should start something, because I got, like we talked about earlier, there's so many ideas, so many people with innovation ideas. It's just being able to get them to pull the trigger, because a lot of times, we get to a point where we just want to take it easy. We just want to be secured, and so we have to find people that are willing to take a little bit of risk, because when it comes to business, that's it. Even a business moving into the area, they consider the risk factors. How much money are they going to make if they move here? So we have to put packages together based on all of that, based on our workforce, because we always promote that workforce that we have. We have a phenomenal workforce because of our military. And so they look at that risk factor before they come in, just like somebody that's looking up to open up a franchise. How many people do I need coming in my door on a daily basis in order to open up a business? And I try to explain that to a lot of people when we compare it to our north side, because I know the big discussion in our area is our north side and maybe a grocery store. We definitely need something like that. But you ask why they're not there, it's because they're not profitable. When they do that market analysis, they're not making money. And so we want a definite bring a grocery store, but we need to show them that they can make money.
Right. I definitely understand that, especially when you look at the opportunities of the youth forward of Interstate 14 and the opportunity of the youth. Well, it's weird because I'm downtown, so I'm trying to. So the opportunity in North Killeen for the children, things for them to do, whether it's from the entertainment side or even the sports side, a lot of those activities are on the other side of the city. So
Yeah.
having a program like this will allow everyone the ability to just tap into that, because there isn't the youth drone experience. It's not just going to tap into it's not just going to tap into just the north side or the east side or the west side or the south side of Killeen, or put it in it from a district's perspective. It's not just going to be in District 1. It has the ability to allow all of the districts to bring their children in and allow their children to experience this type of capability. And kind of like what we said on the last two lives with the other civic leaders, this has the ability to create industry. And as it creates industry, it would then create jobs, and then it will create those who want to see, what does a city have to offer for me in order for me to bring my business in the city. So it's going to be a circulation of not just information, but it's going to be a circulation of opportunity. And I think the circulation of opportunity will definitely bring in the circulation of economics. Just by starting something like this can be an economic boom and economic growth, especially if they're seeing this youth drone experience constantly and consistently coming, reinventing itself, and more drones come in and more students come in and more graduations with these youth within the youth drone experience. So now it could be people opening up shops in downtown Killeen that repair drones, or opening up shops in downtown Killeen that sell drones, and then bringing up a even bigger than that, a manufacturer coming in and putting up a plant that creates drones and that manufactures drones. So this can be just so much that can happen just by starting something like this. And I think this can open the door for many other experiences, as well as opportunities for a lot of people for a long time to come. So definitely, if you're interested in allowing this to continue to grow. As you can see right now, the Cash App is up on the screen. Cash App, $Village United 254 is real simple. Everyone knows, I ain't gonna say everyone. Some people say, I don't know anything about Cash App. So if you know a lot about Cash App, go to your Cash App right now, put in $Village United 254. Or if you don't know anything about Cash App, Google it, then download it, and then go to the send, click the $, put whatever dollar amount that you're going to send it to. Once you're finished with that, go to next, and then type in $Village United 254 and allow this program. Well, I ain't gonna say allow. Let's keep this program going on. Let's keep this program growing. Let's keep this opportunity open for everyone to tap into, because this will breed success. This opportunity will breed success, and it could definitely be a staple here in this city, and could be easily duplicated when it could then be taken on the road to then have this as a tour. Because this is something big, it's something big in a small, big city, as well as the soldiers coming off, like soldiers that are retiring that were flying drones or UAVs inside the Army. Now they can come out, and then that again, from that institution perspective, if I was flying drones in the Army, or I was flying UAVs in the Army, so now I can come out, take that skill set that I learned, and come in and be an instructor for the youth, for the Drone Institute, or whatever it's going to be called, however it's going to be called, because trust me, it will be called something when it comes. So now all of the access to human capital is 900 soldiers that leave Fort Hood every month that goes out of the city. So what if we kept at least a third of that in this city, and then we're circulating that talent pool, and then we're incorporating this experience, then we're incorporating the opportunity. Now we're just beginning to grow. Homegrown, like we were saying earlier, the homegrown will be planted in this new seed will grow.
Yeah. I would like to say, to add to what you're saying to R2, a lot of initiatives that we've launched in the environment, affect the community in pockets. We affect communities, based on things that are aligned with our interests, right? The beauty of this initiative is that this initiative has the ability to bridge gaps, and it has the ability to create, relationships and partnerships, because technology is colorless, right? This is one of those opportunities that we can use to galvanize the strength of our community. And I think just the most powerful thing about the city of Killeen is because it really represents, what the country looks like, being so equally divided amongst all racial and ethnic groups. So this is one of those opportunities for individuals to really open up their ears and hear what the potential is, and the potential that exists, and what can be done. As you were talking, I was just imagining all of those virtual trainers that can come into the environment, because now individuals can look towards the city of Killeen and can really see that value that can be added in preparation for, their future life goals and endeavors, based on their experience being in that environment, and giving up that talent pool that is Fort Hood, and those individuals that will be returning to the workforce and turning to the civilian population after having the experience abroad. Those experiences change us. They give us the ability to look at things more intricately, more creatively, more analytically, in order to make decisions that are going to impact future environments. And I think now is that time, and I think we can do that. But it's going to require us coming into rooms, rolling up our sleeves, disagreeing at times, but making those prudent decisions that will evolve our community. The dynamic use drone experience is the move. And I think that right now we should all be trying to galvanize our support behind it.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
sir.
and I think one of the things that our youths can do with that drone experience is help sell the city, the positive, because one of the things I always make mention, 95% of the things that happen in the city are positive. It's 5%, that can be improved on, even crime. A lot of times people say, well, there's a lot of crime. And I say, well, where's that? Last year we had a record as far as murders. And I said, what was that record? What did that look like? Well, we had 22 deaths. 80% are domestic. But, compared to what? Compared to Austin, compared to Chicago. And so when you look and you put that into perspective, it's not anything big. Any crime is bad, but let's take the focus off of the negative things, because there is so much great things in here. And a lot of times the media or on social, media and things like that, what grabs people's attentions is negativism. Well, with something like this, with the drone program, you can get our youth to go out and take, drone aerials of our parks. There's still a lot of people that don't know all of the parks that we have. Work with some of the businesses and say, here is the different types of restaurant that a lot of people are not aware of that exist in our downtown area. Downtown area is like a huge diversity of restaurants. They have different nationalities. And I have yet, every time I turn around, somebody said, well, there's another one down there. I think yesterday somebody told me that there was a Honduran restaurant. It's like Honduran. So we got Hondurans, we got Ecuador, we got Koreans, and yet not everybody knows that. So you can imagine a kid with a drone and saying, hey, let me work with you to take a picture of your restaurant. There was one, it was right across the street from Killeen High School. I never knew it existed. I think that is an Argentinian restaurant. It's just a little cubbyhole. And I went there, they invited me. Very good food. The people treated you extremely well. They have a routine that they did. I mean, they were just really nice. And I said, well, how many people? No, I don't, I'm the mayor. I didn't even know you were right across the street from Killeen High School, an Argentinian restaurant. So having, our drone program like this will help sell all the positive things that we have here in the city that a lot of people don't know about. Because if you were to ask me, Mayor, what is the one thing that you think can be improved on? I would say the number one thing is the communication. And we try in so many different forms to communicate to our citizens through media, through the newspaper, through videos. And yet I can tell you just about every day, I get people that ask me, Mayor, how come the streets are not being fixed? And I say, well, didn't you read the newspaper? Didn't you get it in your newsletter? Didn't you get it on Facebook? We approved that a few weeks ago. We're waiting on the contractor to come out. He was supposed to start last week, but because of the rain, they've been delayed. It is a process that we do have to go through, but a lot of people don't understand that. And when I explain that, they're like, I never knew that. Why don't you put that out? And it's like, we put it out ever since day one. And so the communication, it's like, how many forms can we add to the way we communicate to the public? Because I can tell you a lot of people don't participate, even in this, it's like you're doing something good. And I think that you're providing a great service to our community, but we always have a small amount of people. The city councils, we probably have 10, and that's it, even if that. Newspaper, a lot of people don't get that. They don't read it. We put videos out. We put social media out. We do YouTubes. We do Twitter. Everything that can be done, we put out. We put it on newsletters, on your water bill. And yet, I can tell you about 90% of the people still say, we don't get it. And so I understand, the challenge, because we're busy making a living. We're busy living life. And a lot of times we don't have time to pay attention to what's happening here locally until somebody hits a pothole. When you hit a pothole, I got to call the mayor and find out why he has not fixed this. And it's like, well, Mayor, when are you going to do something about this? Well, we've been doing something about it. It takes time. We're getting out there. but it does take time. So it's just, getting people, providing more information, getting them to be able to access the many forms of communication that we have.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and and that's why for us it was important that we do something that specifically targets the children. When we evolved and when we began, we worked in mediation, and we found ourselves, working in that 25 to 37 age range, trying to mediate conflicts and doing things of that nature. We took a step back and we began to try to focus on how to internalize those processes in order to, hey, you gave me Jose Cigar, this brother's far R2. But anyway, how to internalize those
You're the
processes.
mayor now.
Hey, hold on, man. Hold on. Let me go get
That's
my
it.
jacket. Hey, how to internalize those processes so we can begin resolving some of those conflicts that exist internally, which morphed and evolved our process down at the village from, just conflict resolution to something that we call eye care. As we continue to walk this path and work and refine our systems, what we realized was that if we could impact the lives of children, now we're ahead of the boom, because those children will become those influencers. They'll become those individuals that will have, influence and authority in the environment. The younger we can affect them and give them hope and create opportunities for them, then they'll become those individuals that marshal their peer groups. And so what we should see a gradual decline in crime over the course of the next 5 years. But it is going to take a commitment on behalf of those individuals who have authority and influence to come together in this moment, and let's have those discussions, and and allocate the appropriate resources in order to do it, understanding that we have to be fiscally sound and mature and to do this at this time period. The majority of things that we've done, as we're doing right now, have been initiatives that we have funded ourselves. And in order to do this, in order to affect 50,000 children, it's just going to take a larger commitment. We know that KISD has a absolutely wonderful robotics program located at Shoemaker High School. Well, it will be our hope that, some of the children that come through the dynamic youth drone experience then later go on to, enroll in that program over there at Shoemaker and do something wonderful. Man, I want to produce Nobel Prize winners. I want to produce MIT graduates that come out of the city of Killeen, return to the city of Killeen, and then help to grow that environment, to create prosperity in that environment. That's really how we make a difference. We can sit around and we could disagree and we could argue about things that, are governed by our interests. But at the end of the day, we have to begin to make an impact in the lives of children. And that's what we're designed to do. And that's what we're desiring to do with the dynamic youth drone experience.
Right. This has definitely. I always leave full. Especially learning and listening from other people's perspective and knowing more about how they think and the process of thought. Because with the absence of exposure, you will then limit the amount of success in a city. I'll say that again. The absence of exposure will limit the amount of success in a city. So the more you expose the more youth that you expose to different experiences, then you will add on to the success of a city. Because the children, kind of like what Brother Tavares was saying, the children that leave will come back because of the experience that they had when they grew up in the city, and they're coming back and they're being leaders because they've seen what other leaders have done for them. It's just like, for me, I will forever, ever remember my drill sergeant Sherelle. That was in 1994, because there was an impact that he had on me that allowed me to want to be a great NCO. And that's the same thing that can be incorporated into this city, creating opportunities to the youth, especially with the youth drone experience, that would allow them to create more opportunities for the children that comes even after them. So let's continue this. I ain't gonna say this theme, because it's not a theme, because we know what it is. Let's continue this progress in order for us to take what we're doing right now and duplicate this process again. Man, I'm trying to find it. All right, there you go. Again, here's the Cash App, as Brother Tavares like to say, Do Nation. So do something. You can watch this, but doing something while you're watching this would allow other kids to be able to do something when this program is duplicated. So every youth that's in this program right now, all 20 plus kids that's in this program will be the mouthpiece for every other youth drone experience after this. So the child that's learning right now in the virtual world, that child may be that programmer that will bring in new virtual experiences for other children that comes after them. So make sure you actually go to your Cash App, put $Village United 254, and allow these kids to continue to be blessed, because as we bless one child, we bless a multitude of children that comes after that child's experience and after that child has been taught.
Hey, can I say something while you leave that Cash App up there? Hey, Archie, leave the Cash App there for just 1 second. And I want to just make something abundantly clear. If you send some money to that Cash App, you're going to help some children. I already got a Cadillac and it ride pretty decent, so I'm not gonna use your money to put rims on the lack. Yes, I did that, man. So that's not what's going on. If you say what the money gonna go to before you get ready to send something to our Cash App, keep your SHIT, because we don't need your money if you ain't invested in these children. Ain't nobody got time for us to be sitting around here questioning whether or not we need to create opportunities for our children in order to make our environment better. If you're going to sit there and be trifling about them petty $20 that you would have cashed out for us, keep it. Because what we need individuals who really can see that it's time for us to make our environments better. We ain't begging. We ain't sitting around here pontificating. We ain't sitting around here trying to pander. What we trying to do is we trying to figure out how to honestly give children an opportunity so that they don't end up as those 13, 14, and 15-year-olds that are on the news because they've just been involved in a shooting. And if your heart ain't for that, then do not cash out the Village United, because what we do is we rely on those individuals who love the environment in order to create opportunities so we can make our environment better. I raised 2 children in that city, and those children came out to be awesome. And I want all children to have the same opportunities that those children have. Thank you to Susan Buckley. Thank you to Anjanette Wilkerson. Thank you to Miss Lindsay. Thank you to all of the many teachers, all of the coaches of the Killeen High School football team. Them jokers was so solid. Let's do our part and make this environment better. Hey, thank you, bro. Hey, yeah, you can leave that Cash App up there if you want to, but I had to get that off my chest. It was burning in my soul listening to you talk.
It was burning in his spirit. But hey, you can hear the passion behind what he's saying, because it is very realistic. Me, myself, my son graduated. Well, he went to Shoemaker High School. He went to Pathway. He didn't do what he was supposed to do, but he took the long way to success. But this is the city he always come back to. Right. Not because I'm here, but he has experienced a lot of things in this city. As he left the environment and came back, he knows when he see Brother Tavares, he knows how to greet him, because that's how we raised our children, to be respectful in the environment. So every time you come back, you are well respected and you know how to handle yourself and to conduct yourself and how to communicate. So every child, they're not just getting the technology piece, they're getting the mentorship from other gentlemen, and they're getting the mentorship from other women to know, I see something in you. I can breathe life into you, because the life that I breathe into you, that's the same life that you're going to turn around and breathe into the next children. So we're breeding children that are going to have the ability to teach other children. So definitely, Mayor SEGARRA, we appreciate you for coming on. You could have been anywhere right now. You could have been at the Argentinian restaurant eating right now.
Hey, I just want to say, I appreciate what you guys do, because you inspire so many of our youth. I think that when we talk about our youth, that hole is small. It's not as big as most people think. I think most of our youth are doing the right thing. It's just a small hole that I think we can easily patch. But with what you guys are doing, you are an example. You set and you inspire so many, and people see what you're doing. And that's what I think makes the difference in our community. They look at how many people, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're African American, and they look at so many people within our community that are in a leadership position like that. And I think that's important, and we can't take that lightly. But I think that when our youth look up to you guys and all of us, that's inspiring. I grew up in Chicago. I never had anybody that looked like me in a leadership position growing up. I grew up with the old Mayor Daley and all those other stuff. Now you see it, but in our community, I think that it's more accessible. It's not where, they're so far away, it doesn't matter. Here, you're in touch with our youth, and then just keep doing it because you're the one that is setting the example and inspiring so many youth to become better. We have so many great programs, and a lot of our youth, it's just amazing. I think we don't celebrate them enough. All the people, all the kids that do great things. I know I'm part of the Youth Advisory Commission. That's a awesome program with the city. When I became mayor, they said, Mayor, you don't have to be part of this committee where you're actually out there interviewing them. But I love that program so much. I say, no, I still want to be part of it because the youth get to see and they sit in front of me and they're as nervous as heck, but they come and they're honored. It's like, Mayor, it's such an honor to meet you. And I'm not trying to blow my smoke, but it elevates them. It elevates their mindset. And when I ask them those questions, I had one youth, he was there, and I said, well, tell me, what are you going to do when you graduate high school? He says, well, I'm going to be a heart surgeon. And this is an African American young kid out of Ellison. And I say, you're going to be a heart surgeon? He says, yeah. And I said, why? Why are you going to be a heart surgeon? And he says, well, my mom passed away a couple of years ago. And so I want to help, you know, people that with their heart, I want to be able to transplant and help people from dying. And I said, well, you know what? With that type of motivation, you're definitely going to be a heart surgeon. Can I ask you, have you already applied? Have you been accepted to a college? And he said, yes, I've been accepted at Oxford. And I say,
Mm.
Oxford, isn't that like in Europe somewhere? And he says, yes. And this is a young African American graduating from Ellison, going to be a heart surgeon, going to Oxford. How many people in our community are
Mm.
aware that we have youths at this level? Not too many, because our focus is a lot of times on the small that are not doing so well. And so I think that we can help that youths, through programs like this. This is awesome what you guys are doing. We're going to be able to capture them and guide them, and not only guide them, but connect them to people like yourselves so they can see, we are just like you. I have no college degree. I'm the mayor. And when I tell them that, they look at me as like, you can be mayor without going to college? I say, definitely. And I think they think they're smarter than me. And I say, well, then I could be mayor. And I say, of course. But it's a opportunity that we have to take advantage of when we connect with our youth at every given point. And I think that you're doing that. You're doing a great thing. And on behalf of the city, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your friendship, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. One thing we definitely want to do is ensure that you continue to be examples for the youth, because you never know who's actually watching you. The Youth Drone Experience is an experience that will be the experience of a lifetime. So ensure that you enroll your child. The link again for the application, click that link that's inside the content of this live, and then go ahead and fill out the application. And then once you fill out the application, although the live portion of the class will be the ending of this particular session, but once you begin to fill the application out, then you will be in the next Youth Drone Experience that is coming up after this. So again, we thank you guys for being here. Remember, opportunity will always breed success, but we must create the experience that will be the experience of a lifetime. You guys enjoyed your evening, and thank you for being here, and thank you for everything that you do. And remember, tomorrow is enough for you to be successful. You guys be blessed.